The Mid-Notts Joint Railway was a relatively late comer in the railway age, opening in 1931 and lasted until official closure in August 1966 between Ollerton via Bilsthorpe and on towards Farnsfield. The connections between Ollerton, where the Great Central Railway operated, and Farnsfield, where the Midland Railway operated, provided a link up to Bilsthorpe Colliery. With Bilsthorpe situated right in the middle of the map, it also had the line connecting across towards Clipston Junction. With the Midland Railway closing between Mansfield and Southall at the bottom of the map, and also the connection off towards Clipston, going off in a northerly direction, the line soon closed. Official closure was 19th of January 1959 between Bilsthorpe and Eakring up towards Ollerton, and December 1963 was the last workings between Farnsfield and Bilsthorpe, but again it didn't officially close until October 1966. The section between Eakring and Ollerton was continued to be used for sidings, and again there used to be a Rexco oil plant at Ollerton which utilised part of the line up until 1989. So was this indeed a complete waste of time building this railway? I'd love to hear your comments below. And here's a fantastic image that shows us the bridge that we're about to start at our video. You'll find me on the right hand side just above the Class 31 locomotive where the hoppers are, but this is showing where it crosses the Great Central Railway, or the Lancashire Derbyshire East Coast Railway. You've got the steam locomotive on the left hand side with those tracks behind us going back towards Ollerton Colliery, and beyond the bridge and going off into the distance would be towards Tuxford. So the line on the right hand side is the current High Marnham test track. And this is where the Mid-Notts Joint Railway pretty much began its journey. There used to be a bridge just here. I'm stood on the abutment. Look, there's the current Network Rail test track. Down there, the former Lancashire Derbyshire East Coast Railway and later Great Central Railway, open to freight traffic to serve High Marnham Power Station, which closed around about 20 years ago. Now there was a loop of line that went over there and joined on to all the internal lines in the colliery, but that was taken out of use pretty much not long after the line actually opened, October 1938, and it wasn't actually lifted until 1961, I believe. So that's quite a long time and a waste of time actually building that at the time, I suppose. So remains of this bridge, you can still see where the structure was attached just there, look, and there's also one on the opposite side down there, look. I've got a photo somewhere of a working going over this bridge and a working also going underneath it, which I think sums up this location absolutely perfectly. What happens once that goes around the curve, before it goes over Newark Road, there was also the junction which took the Great Central spur off this line onto the Mid-Notts Joint Railway as it heads towards Bilsthorpe and Farnsfield. Now the trackbed itself, that's impassable, look. We can't be going up there today. We can follow the course as best as we can in the Ollerton area, but until we get to beyond Ollerton and where Rufford Lane is, that's when we'll be able to pick up the trackbed a heck of a lot better. But I'll still talk to you about this area and what it used to look like, and also I can get the drone up too and see what it actually looks like from above. Give us a better perspective, won't it? Still got the blue brick just here, look, from where the bridge was supported, but again, nothing appears to remain over there at all. Maybe the foundations are still down there in the undergrowth, but that is going to be about it. It's going to be going off in that direction over there, and that was taken out of use because of Booton Junction was put in down there, so there's a new curve put in which would have gone off towards the line of Bevercoats Colliery, which opened shortly after. So let's push on in this direction as best we can, follow the route, and I'll try and pick it up in places where I can. Additionally, I've climbed down, like you can see some cutouts just there. There's one there and one there, and that would have most likely been where the steel foundations were inserted and situated in order to support the bridge going over. There's an old railway boundary fence post there, look, right in the middle of shot. That's as close as it gets to the active line down there, look. So again, as you can see,
If we carried on, it'd curve around a little bit and there'd be another junction a few hundred metres up, which was the Great Central Spur that joined on just before Newark Road down there. I should have shown you all this on maps. And afterwards there was the other spur, which was the Midland Railway one, that went off and crossed this line beyond Newark Road and went into Ollerton Colliery. We'll see that in a little while. So now I just need to safely navigate getting down this embankment and picking up the route a little bit further on. As I do that, there's another bit of blue brick wall just here, look. There we go, look, that shows you a bit better how high it actually is. I like it how they put all the safety fences on. Can you see the other railway post just there for fencing? Okay, let's go.
So here's an image, I believe, taken from Ollerton's signal box. In the centre of shot, right in the distance, there's a brick chimney which was to do with Ollerton Brickworks. If you look beyond that, you can just squint, you can see lines of wagons going from left to right behind the chimney. And that would have been the bridge that passed over and carried the line off onto the Mid-Notts Joint Railway. And if it continued off to the left, it would go towards what was to become Bevercott's Colliery. You can see in this image a junction going off to the right, and that was indeed the spur off this line for the Great Central to join onto the Mid-Notts Joint Railway, which you can again see in the distance if you really squint, but it's a very poor quality image. This drone footage again shows the line coming away from Tuxford, which is now the High Marnham Test Track, and it curves around to show that it's going back towards Ollerton, and you can just pick up where the crossing is for the Mid-Notts Joint line, just there in the centre. The Mid-Notts Joint line is going off to the left, the High Marnham Test Track shooting off to the right back towards Shirebrook, and that curve in the centre at the top is the spur joining both lines, which you can see in the distance as we move towards the direction of Eakring following the Mid-Notts Joint.
High Marnham Test Track just there, and we were stood just up there, and there's the route of the Mid-Notts Joint curving around that way towards Billsthorpe. A little tiny bit of the track bed is visible there, look. This is all fenced off and it has been harvested, and I'm not going to go trampling across this field. It's fenced off just there before the track bed too, look. So not going to go over there, but the track bed is there. There are fields on the other side between this line and the curve of the Great Central, and also the test track, which is beyond that line of trees. Track bed shooting off to about there. That is roughly where the junction is for the spur off what was the Great Central connection. A little bit further down was the junction for the spur for the Midland section, which went off over what is now the Network Rail Test Track and into Ollerton Colliery. So I'm going to push on and follow this footpath down, this public footpath, and see if we can actually get a bit closer to the track bed once more.
So this shot shows the spur of the line joining onto the High Marnham Test Track coming in the opposite direction, as if we're following the Mid-Notts below us. Coming into sight, you can see the junction of the two joining together, and further down right at the top of the picture you can see another line of trees going off to the right, and that was the line that went off towards Ollerton Colliery. You can see the spur of the line joined onto High Marnham just in this shot just here, and that again is the second spur on the left hand side we just previously mentioned, and this headed on and crosses over a bridge at the High Marnham Test Track as we approach Ollerton Colliery.
And we are now pretty much opposite where the junction of the Great Central is. I'll have the drone up to show you that in greater detail, but unfortunately, as access has become more and more restricted, so as being able to walk along the route, so even if you can get near it, it is just severely overgrown. I had a look over winter time as well a few months ago, and it was pretty tricky then. So it's not just the fact it's the middle of August that it's like that. And this is Newark Road, and this is the central of 3 different bridges that crossed over and shot across in that direction. You can just make out the embankment of the former Midland Railway track bed crossing over, and what it does next is shoot across that way, and it has all completely gone. That section of track bed, that short stub, has completely gone, apart from one important detail: the bridge where it crosses the current high modern test track and onto where Ollerton Colliery once stood. So the Midland Railway connection came from right where that line of trees are just here, all the way across here, and it intercepted this bridge, a bridge that went over the Lancashire-Derbyshire East Coast Railway, still used today as the Network Rail test track. I can lift you up just a little bit and show you what's down there, some track, and it is occasionally used. This line only carried on a little bit further down there, and it integrated with the internal lines of Ollerton Colliery, which was all this land over there. Again, you can see what that line looks like as it heads off towards Shirebrook Junction a few miles away, and again what the colliery land looks like today with all manner of units and housing on there. So this is the former Midland line, the branch it came off, the joint line, and now I'm going to head back to where I've just left you. And here are the remaining, well, the one remaining abutment for the bridge going over Newark Road. And what happened next, it took about 100 metres and it went underneath Wellow Road on a little curve. And just beyond that is another little curve before it goes under Rufford Lane. And Rufford Lane is where I'm going to see you next, after just having a little look at the former bridge on Wellow Road, where it hits next. So the next point of interest is a bridge going and taking Rufford Lane across the former track bed. Where we just come from at the previous bridge, the line curves around just the other side of that woodland and garden just there, and it will reappear a little way down here beside a stables and equestrian centre. A few years ago, about 3 years ago, I did manage to step down and have a look, not all the way at the bottom underneath, but I climbed down the side a little way, so it'd be nice to see if I could do similar. It's just a little way down here. So here we are, this is looking back towards Ollerton. The other bridge is probably about a quarter of a mile on a bend just around there. You can see it's well overgrown, but it's looking all right, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to be able to get you down there at all, to be honest. That's so overgrown, isn't it? And it's the same on the other side. But what we can do is have a look on the other side. You can see where the bridge number used to be, look. And it's completely worn off. I could probably just make an M, and that ends, that'll be mid-knots, won't it? The track bed on the opposite side, it's absolutely gone, but it's a very, very long way down, isn't it? That is an extraordinary drop. Look at all those nettles down there. There's no way you'd get me walking along that one. I may be able to get the drone up at some point so we can get a better look of what this bridge does look like. So standing here with the route going towards Billsthorpe and Farnsford, it takes a curve. Can you see that pylon? The route is going to take a tight left just there. Somewhere over there, there should be a footpath along here for me to get onto. Okay, this looks promising. So I've come across there, but this very much looks like our track bed down here. I'm gonna stick directly. Oh, look at this! Wow, that's a drop down, isn't it? That's extraordinary. Didn't realise it would be this far down. And just coming down to the bottom. Wow, look how steep that is. It's almost like an old canal, and that's why this kind of like bridge has been put here, look, because it's a swampy mess going back. That's around that corner where we were stood on Rufford Lane, and again in the opposite direction, look, it's just a jungle of nature. I'll show you again how steep that is. Now the crazy thing about living in this area for the last 7 years, and this is only about a 15-minute walk from home, I've never been down here. I've never looked at this railway, never touched it in any way, shape, form, so all of it is going to be a new surprise for me. So we've got more steep steps to go up on this side, and so not really much else to see, but we're on the track bed, and that is what's important. Let's see if we can go and find a little bit more. So there's a kissing gate just there, but this also looks like a trodden down footpath. I can see horses' hooves in there as well. So I'm going to try and attempt to follow that foot of the track bed, which is just down there. Still on what appears to be a footpath. Don't appear on OS maps though, this one doesn't. Track bed is the drop the other side of these trees and bushes still. So we're right with it, a lot closer than I expected us to be. But if we ever peer down, you can't really see much, look, other than it's still an overgrown like jungle. Riders must dismount to cross bridge. Oh, we've got a bridge. Look at this. Wow, well. Didn't see this coming. But it also gives us a better understanding of what our track bed looks like. And it's exactly the same, look. Some wooden posts down there. I'm assuming that might be warning of the electric cables for whatever reason. A better view of the bridge, look. Just there, look. Steel. And it's got the brick abutments. I'll show you the other side. Exactly the same, look. An absolute no-go zone. So closer view of the side, look, you can see the rivets and the bolts on top, and these curious wooden beams going from left to right. Hard to think that this bridge isn't even 100 years old yet. Time recorded, I'd say, yeah, 92 years old, this line. So you've got to imagine this bridge is as old as that. So we're going to push on into this field and we'll take a left and follow this track bed from the opposite side. short distance down and we've got ourselves another bridge. Look at those bolts in the side and the blue brick. I can stand there and we can have a little look at it from the other side. Look, that's pretty good, isn't it? Doesn't seem as overgrown down there as previous locations. I'm not sure if these are footpaths or not, you know. They're not gated off and there's no entry signs. It just says no horses. But that's what it looks like on the other side. Look, there we go, there's a better view. But it is nettled up to hell, isn't it? If I stand on there, I can give you a glimpse of what it looks like on the other side. So I've come across the bridge and I'm walking along these. Look, we've got boundary posts, look, concrete posts. Now, according to OS maps, this is supposed to be a footpath, public footpath here somewhere. There's a gap in the hedge just there, which cuts across here. It looks like there might be another gap. Are we actually going to get ourselves back onto the track bed? Definitely an opening, look. What's going to happen? Yes, we are. Steps down onto the former railway line, look. Oh well, I did not expect this. So, we're actually going to get to walk on the track bed. Probably, even if it's a few meters. That bridge, you can't see it, but it is just down there on those, within those trees over there. Getting a bit overexcited now. So we're on it, look. How about that? Now, I can see a yellow post here and I think we're actually going to leave the track bed pretty much immediately. But at least I know I am actually on a public footpath, which is important, isn't it? Yeah, there's the yellow post and there are some steps up away. So that's nice. As short as this section is, and it's a shame that that could have been turned into something going that way, couldn't it? But at the same time, now it's just a corridor for nature, and that is more important than an extra footpath for us. So I'm going to get myself up here, back onto the field that I was originally on, where I crossed over the last bridge just up there, and we're going over this little bridge into this field here, and we'll take a left. So I've now picked up, just off the footpath, what is, it's an old culvert. Look at that. What a surprise. It's collapsed a little bit, hasn't it? But the brickwork is in fact on both sides. We are back on the track bed again. There's the other side, look. We've just walked along that bit down there where I got all excited. I can just make out the yellow post still. So, looks like the track bed is all infilled down there, doesn't it? Because that is where it would be. You can just make out the trees. And there's a little bit of the track bed further on down from the culvert. Not really much to see, is there? They look like old concrete railway sleepers. They are, aren't they? There's 4 of them. I'll get my shadow out of the way. But they've had the rail chairs taken off, haven't they? 4 of them. This is on the Robin Hood Way. I'm having to follow that to pick up the route again. Okay, I've just followed part of the Robin Hood Way. That is over there, and it has brought me into this cornfield. And according to OS maps, it is taking me back towards the track bed where there could be yet another bridge. Now, there was a private road up there with electronic gates on. There could have been a bridge, or there might not have been a bridge. Here it is. This is that next footbridge, look, and it's even got the old bridge number on there, look. No idea what that means, but it looks like it was painted in 1973 maybe. But this time that looks like grass, doesn't it? There's a caravan down there, so maybe I don't really want to be going down there. Let's have a look on the other side. Could get over there and take a little photo though. And there it is from a distance. Look, I'm not going to go down there because, let's say, there is a caravan down there, but that is a nice preserved section of former track bed, isn't it? So what I've got to do now is walk up into Ekrin and then follow that road over towards where the former Billsfort Colliery was. So I'm now having to walk on Deerdale Lane. Ekrin is about a quarter of a mile behind me, and there should be some more evidence of another bridge, or maybe where there was once one, just up here. You can possibly see from the brow of the road just there that we are approaching what we're looking for. There it is. Look, not much to really show you. That's what it looks like on the other side. Oh, just found some nettles. I'll run over while there's no traffic. There's more to see on this side. Look, more of a wall visible. And there's the former track bed down there. Look, I believe it's private land though. Now I'm on the former track bed which came from the original Great Central Railway, which was even the original Lancashire Derbyshire East Coast Railway coming up from Clipston, and it would have come to Billsfort Colliery just here. The colliery closed in 1997 and workings finished shortly after. All got demolished and turned into, I think it's recycling and all other sorts of units just over there. And the rapid loaders was around about here, and there was a head shunt just down there. I've got to follow this point of this track bed to get back onto the original track bed I was just on. It's an old sleeper just here, look. Mixed in with all the mud. It's probably to stop vehicles from going up here. Got to head off over there towards the wind turbines. I can see a brick building over there. I wonder what that is. So this behind me, I believe, is going to be a pump house for the colliery. The former colliery closed in 1997. And I assume it's still got to be required and needed for water levels in the area and probably down below. Someone might want to correct me on that, whether it is actually still in use. But the fact that this is still standing when everything else has gone and been obliterated, I can hear no sounds coming from the inside. You can see where windows used to be, look, and they've been bricked up probably in the late 90s to stop people getting in. There's a bit of a crack going up there, but it looks like it has been repointed at some point. There is a door around the other side, but it is sealed as expected. But this is a nice little reminder, isn't it? Got some old telecommunications connections up there as well. That dates back a little bit, doesn't it? Come around the front, now I'd say that looks wide enough for maybe a forklift or some kind of small vehicular access just there. There is a hole just there. Look, if you was high enough, you could actually probably shine a light in and poke a camera inside, and another window there. And there's the door and entranceway just there, look, that I pointed out. But totally sealed up. It's welded, in fact, that is. That's great, isn't it? The old danger keep out sign just there. Right, Billsfort Wind Farm is blocking off access to the track bed, so what I'm going to do is just over there, and then I'm going to pick it up a bit further down the other side of the colliery. I'll fly the drone over, I'll try and get it over to where the bridge is and the road to Eakring and follow the track bed along, and then I'll pick you up a little bit over there. There's another railway sleeper here, look, behind the pumping house building just there. You kind of forget, don't you, it's got all those reinforced bars going through them. So I've just come back past the pumping station, the pump building over there, and what the track bend there did was go over there where the turbines are, and it looks like there's a transmitter there. Behind this woodland, this is a fisheries pond just here, Billsfort Fisheries. There's a solar farm the other side of the trees. The track bed straight lined its way through the right hand side of the solar farm and then picked up on its journey to Farnsfield. Over there was all the pit buildings. There was lots and lots of sidings over there, rows upon row, which were connected to the line that went off back down towards Clipston. But there was in fact one line over there which connected this line to the one we've been following today over there. I'm going to try and pick that up before we then jump onto the part of the track bed which has been converted into the official pathway down towards Farnsfield. Here we go, onto the former connection between the Lancashire Derby East Coast Railway, later Great Central's line into Billsfort Colliery back to Clipston, sort of cutting across where the colliery and all the slag heaps, spore heaps are over there, and joining on to our Mid-Notts Joint Railway over here before it shot across the road and picked up the track bed heading off in the direction of Farnsfield. So there really is nothing to show you up here apart from the fact that I believe this was the actual track bed just there to the right of the footpath as if you're walking towards Farnsfield, and that's looking back towards the colliery, so it's on the left. That is the raised section and the more flattest, but I just wanted to show you the connection between both lines and where it actually was. I'll jump to Rail Map Online now and show you exactly where we are and where we're going next. Now this image captures everything in the area that we're stood at just now. You got Billsfort Colliery in the far distance on the top left, and these are the connecting sidings and run round loops which joined the Mid-Notts line onto where Billsfort Colliery was, because that's the Mid-Notts Joint Railway on the right hand side. Behind us we'd be heading off towards Farnsfield, and going away from us we're heading off towards Eakring and Ollerton. You can see the bridge crossing the line over there, that was also another short spur. And off to the right hand side that went off towards Billsfort Brickworks. Again on Rail Map Online you can see the spur on the right hand side curving round to the brickworks. The yellow line going from centre bottom to top right is our Mid-Notts Joint Railway towards Ollerton at the top and Farnsfield at the bottom, and that image we've just been looking at would be that combination of blue lines in the centre of shot. So moving on now, we're going to leave Billsfort and the colliery behind, and we're going to head down that yellow track all the way down to Farnsfield Junction, where we will terminate our journey and walk today. So now we've left the colliery behind, we then approach Eakring Road, where the railway used to cross over and head off straight ahead of us. You'll be able to see that in a moment. There's a roundabout here, and we need to cross this and get ourselves directly over to here, Forest Link. It's a reasonably newish housing estate which I'm not really going to film, mainly due to privacy and the fact there's actually nothing to show you until we find the track bed again. So left Billsport behind now, about a quarter of a mile from the main village. On the trackbed with quite an embankment. Not a lot to see so far, apart from the embankment's been shored up with a couple of sleepers there, look. But pretty straight and pretty narrow currently as we head off towards Kirklington Road further up, where there is a bridge going over. I believe there's a bridge before that though, an actual proper nice stone one coming up. So if there's nothing else to see before then, I'll see you there. Some steps down here off the track bed, look, so I'm going to follow that down because it must be some sort of access and a bridge below. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there it is, look. So there's a steel bridge going across. Oh gosh, a load of mud there as well. I can't really see that being... That would be the original bridge, yes it would, because the railway didn't open until well into the 1900s. So that will be its original steel riveted bridge. It's not even 100 years old. So here's the next bridge I thought about. Original structure yet again. Quite wide, isn't it, above there? But I think this was only for farm access and nothing more. Eakring Road out of the village is just around there, but original structure, to think the railway below it only had around about 30 to 35 years in use. There's the old bridge number there, look. That's good, isn't it? Still on there. I'm not going up onto that one because it is for the farm buildings over that way. Still great to see, isn't it? This is Kirklington Road. Above us, again, it's going to be the original bridge. Heading off back towards Mansfield in that direction. And also you turn off to Billsport by road. And also off towards Newark. Imagine waking tomorrow and the music has disappeared. I remember seeing that last time I called here some years ago. I'd hate life without music because music is very, very important to me as an individual. So that has quite a poignant meaning and significance for many people, I imagine. Original bridge again with a steel work base just there and the brickwork going forward. Not really much to show you now going down here until we get to Farnsfield where the junction was. There used to be a signal box and Farnsfield station which closed around about 1928, 29. I've not checked, but I know it was about 30 years before the Southwell Paddy section of the line closed in 1959. Those clouds ahead look a little bit ominous. I can see a farm access bridge going over the top, painted in green, just there. Not got far to go now, maybe half a mile, so hopefully I get this done before that impending rainstorm turns up. Yeah, here it is, look, so it's a farm crossing, probably about a tractor's width. It's going to be its original trough on top as well as the brickwork again. I like the fact it appears to have been painted as well on both sides, look, in recent years. So it's been maintained cosmetically as well as, you know, the actual structure. So that's really, really good. So I'm now coming up to the junction where this route finished and ended up on the Mansfield to Southwell line. Passenger services ceased in 1929 at the station here and all the others, except for the one at Southwell, which carried on until 1959. But that was just a short push-pull service between Ralston on the Newark to Nottingham line. So I'm going to leave you at Farnsfield Junction. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the very next one. Bye bye.